Entitled cousin announced she was pregnant during my wedding toast. I'm sitting in my honeymoon suite. Yes, I'm writing this on what should be a romantic night. Feeling hurt, angry, and utterly bewildered. Why? Because my entitled cousin decided to announce her pregnancy during my wedding toast. And no, it wasn't an accident or a sweet surprise for me. It was a blatant spotlight grab, and it blew up the whole evening. Let me back up a bit. I, 26F, got married to the love of my life. 27M this past weekend. It was a big family wedding. My cousin Tiffany, fake name 24F, and I grew up pretty close. She's my mom's sister's daughter, and we were thick as thieves as kids, though she's always had a bit of a competitive streak. As we got older, we drifted in and out of touch, aside from family gatherings or the occasional brunch. She's always loved being the center of attention. She was the kid who would cry if it wasn't her birthday and someone else was getting gifts. But I never imagined that trait would carry into my wedding. Leading up to the big day, there were little signs of weirdness from Tiffany. At the rehearsal dinner, she kept joking, "I'm next, I'm next." When we did a practice bouquet toss, I laughed it off, thinking she was just excited for herself. She also made a few comments about how she wished her boyfriend, now fiancé 26M, had proposed sooner so she could have been the one getting married that weekend. I thought she was just kidding. Now I'm not so sure. Fast forward to the reception. The ceremony went beautifully. I was on cloud 9 after saying, "I do." After dinner, it was time for speeches. My dad gave a tearjerker toast. Then my maid of honor, my sister, had everyone laughing and crying in turn. Then my husband and I took the microphone to thank our guests. We kept it short and sweet, just expressing gratitude and love to everyone who came. I then said we felt so lucky, and if anyone else wanted to say a few words. The floor was open. Cue Tiffany practically leaping out of her seat. I remember being slightly surprised because she's never been shy, but she's also not usually one to give impromptu speeches. I handed her the mic, thinking maybe she wanted to congratulate us or share a childhood anecdote. She starts off normal, congratulating us, thanking us for bringing the family together, etc. Then she grins and says, "Since we're all family here, I have my own special announcement to make." I felt a weird tingle of dread. In that split second, I swear I knew what she was about to do, and my stomach just dropped. Sure enough, she practically squeals, "Jason and I are expecting a baby," and then holds up an ultrasound picture from her purse. The room erupted. I'm talking gasps. Then cheers and applause. Our stunned family members started clapping. My grandma shrieked, "I'm gonna be a great-grandma!" And a bunch of cousins rushed over to hug her. It was as if a switch flipped, and suddenly my wedding reception turned into her baby announcement party. Picture this. One moment I'm the radiant bride in the spotlight, and literally the next, I'm standing off to the side as people swarm around Tiffany. It felt surreal. I did clap weakly for a second. Reflexively, I guess. But then I just froze, standing there with this fake smile plastered on my face, trying to process what the hell just happened. My husband was next to me, squeezing my hand like, "What do we do?" The vibe in the room completely shifted. I looked at our wedding planner and DJ, who both looked unsure of how to proceed. After maybe a minute, though it felt like an eternity, of this impromptu celebration, I realized we needed to steer things back to our event. I caught the DJ's eye and gave a little, "Let's get on with it" signal. He nodded and announced it was time for the bride and groom's first dance. Problem was, many guests were still busy congratulating Tiffany. When our song started, half the room wasn't even watching us. I was mortified and furious. My mom noticed and practically marched over to where a crowd was fussing over Tiffany, loudly announcing, "Hey everyone, the first dance is starting." That snapped some people out of it, and they dispersed, but by then I was fighting back tears. We got through our first dance. Honestly, I barely remember it. I was numb, trying not to cry. Immediately after, I beelined for the bathroom with my sister. The second the door closed, I burst into tears. Not exactly the newlywed bliss you expect on your wedding day. I was crying out of frustration and anger. My sister was livid, pacing around like, "Who does that? I swear I'm going to go kick her out." It took a few minutes for me to calm down. I didn't want to give Tiffany the satisfaction, if she even cared, of knowing she'd gotten to me, so I fixed my makeup, took a lot of deep breaths, and went back out determined to salvage the night. For a while, I managed to push it aside. We resumed the reception. We did the cake cutting, more dancing, and I tried to focus on enjoying the party we paid for. Tiffany laid low for a bit during those activities. Thank God. I saw her and her boyfriend, now fiancé, off in a corner with her immediate family, showing off the ultrasound and chatting excitedly, but at least she wasn't in the middle of the dance floor. I thought maybe that would be the end of it, like, okay, crappy thing to do, but maybe we can all move on. Oh, I was wrong. Toward the end of the night, as my husband and I were saying goodbye to guests, Tiffany strolled up to us, absolutely glowing. She had the audacity to gush, "Thank you so much for sharing your special day with us. Now we have so much to celebrate. This'll be a story for the family for years to come. Like she genuinely thought it was cute that she made this double celebration. I was speechless. My husband gave my arm a gentle squeeze, a silent keep your cool signal. I managed a curt, "Congrats again, Tiffany," trying not to sound as upset as I was. Then she said, "I'm sure you'll want to see this," and actually tried to hand me the ultrasound photo. I snapped quietly. I handed it back and whispered, "Tiff, this is lovely news, but you really should not have announced it today. That was extremely inappropriate." I kept a polite smile with teeth clenched. Her face fell into a pout. She whispered back, "I didn't mean to take away from you, but everyone's here, and I wanted to share the happy news. You're not mad, are you? It's not like I planned it to steal your thunder." She even had a little laugh, like it was all just lighthearted. I hissed, still smiling for the remaining guests. "It's not about being pregnant. It's about the timing. This day was supposed to be about us. You couldn't wait even 24 hours? She got defensive. I wanted to announce it in front of everyone. "What's the big deal? It's a happy occasion too. I thought you'd be happy for me." I just said flatly, "There's a time and place. This wasn't it. We'll talk later." And I turned to greet another guest who was leaving, effectively cutting off the conversation. She huffed and walked away. By the end of the night, I was exhausted and still simmering with anger. My husband was equally upset, though he tried to put on a brave face for me. This was not how I envisioned feeling on my wedding night. On our drive to the hotel, my phone was blowing up with texts, some from family who were at the wedding, some from those who saw posts online. A few highlights. My mom texted me furious that her sister, my Aunt Tiffany's mom, allowed that stunt to happen and promised we'd deal with it later. One of my cousins. WTF, was Tiffany thinking? I'm so sorry. Another message thread turned into people actually congratulating Tiffany in the middle of talking about my wedding. Ugh. The next day, I woke up to even more messages. Tiffany herself texted me twice. First, a short one. "Hey cuz, I hope you aren't upset. I was just so excited I couldn't hold it in. Love you and hope you know how happy I am for you too." That one felt so fake cheery. It made my blood boil. The second was a longer text basically defending herself. She said she's sorry I was caught off guard, but that she thought announcing at my wedding would add to the joy, and that we'd always share that special date. She went on about how she doesn't get to see the whole family often, and didn't want to announce over social media, so she seized the moment. She ended it with, "I truly thought you'd be happy too. I feel like my joy has been tainted now. I wish you'd reconsider your attitude." Yes, my attitude. I haven't replied to her. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to say anything remotely nice right now. My family is divided. My mom and siblings are firmly on my side, mortified at Tiffany's behavior. My aunt, Tiffany's mom, is defending her, saying it wasn't a big deal and I should be happy for my cousin. She even called my mom saying I overreacted and made Tiffany feel guilty on my wedding day. The gall of that! As for me, I'm just trying to process it all. I'm furious, yes, but also just incredibly hurt. My wedding day will forever have this awkward memory attached to it. Instead of just thinking about marrying my best friend, I have to remember how my cousin stole the spotlight. I deserve to enjoy being a newlywed without this drama hanging over me. I'm not sure what to do next. Do I confront her and tell her how messed up that was? Or do I just distance myself and let it be? Part of me wants a sincere apology, but another part doubts I'll ever get one. Knowing Tiffany, she'll continue to think she did nothing wrong and I'm being a brat. For now, I'm avoiding responding until I cool down. We have a family gathering, another cousin's birthday, in a month, and I might just skip it if I'm still this upset. I don't want a second event to turn weird. Thank you for listening to my vent. Not the happy post-wedding bliss I anticipated, that's for sure. I'll update if/when I decide how to handle this, or if anything else happens. Update 1. Hi everyone. I'm back from my honeymoon, and unfortunately the family drama did not die down. In fact, it got worse. After 2 blissful weeks of unplugging, I returned to a barrage of family messages. Some relatives urged me to make peace because Tiffany is pregnant and doesn't need stress. My aunt, Tiffany's mom, even scolded me via Facebook, saying I was being immature for staying upset. Meanwhile, my mom filled me in that my aunt was telling everyone I berated poor Tiffany at the wedding and made her cry. Wildly exaggerated. I never even raised my voice at the wedding. I also got screenshots from a cousin of a vague Facebook post Tiffany made about people trying to bring you down during your happiest moments. Subtle, right? I tried one more time to talk to Tiffany directly. I called her, hoping we could clear the air. It went badly. She was defensive from the get-go and kept insisting I was overreacting. When I told her calmly how hurt and embarrassed I was, She brushed it off and said I was being overly dramatic. The conversation escalated with her calling me selfish and saying I just can't stand not being the center of attention. I retorted that any bride would be upset in my shoes and that she was the selfish one. Neither of us heard the other, and it ended with her saying something sarcastic like, "Sorry, my pregnancy ruined your wedding," before hanging up on me. So that bridge pretty much burned. A week later, I saw her in person at a mutual cousin's 30th birthday party. I almost didn't go, but the cousin is a good friend and I refused to let Tiffany's drama isolate me. As expected, it was tense. We avoided each other at first, but an awkward moment brought everything to a head. The birthday boy jokingly said, "No surprise announcements tonight, please," during a toast, which made some people chuckle. I smirked and quipped that I left my ultrasound at home. Most folks laughed, but Tiffany and my aunt were not amused. Tiffany muttered something about me being real mature. I snapped back that it was just a joke and she should lighten up. She then accused me of bringing drama into someone else's event. I replied, "Pot, meet kettle," and that was it. Boom, the fight was on, right there in my grandparents' living room. It got loud. She shouted that she can't enjoy any family gathering because I'm out to get her. I shouted that she hijacked my wedding, and I'm not going to just smile about it. The climax was her yelling, "My pregnancy is more important than your stupid wedding. Get over yourself," in front of everyone. There were audible gasps and stunned silence. Hearing her say that felt like a slap in the face. At that point, I grabbed my things and left, shaking with anger and tears. My husband and sister followed right after me, and a couple of other cousins slipped out too, upset by what they'd witnessed. After I left, all hell broke loose back inside. My aunt started yelling that I'm cruel and stressing out her pregnant daughter. My mom yelled back that Tiffany was way out of line with what she said. People were either shouting or in shock, and the party pretty much fell apart after that. So now a second family event ended in chaos because of this feud. The birthday cousin even hugged me as I left and whispered he was sorry, which made me feel awful for him. I felt guilty that his celebration got derailed. Now the family is basically split into camps. Some agree with me that Tiffany's behavior was outrageous and understand why I'm upset. Others think I overreacted and should be the bigger person and let it go for the sake of family harmony. It's a mess, to put it mildly. My immediate family and a few cousins firmly back me up and were just as appalled at her behavior. Others, including my aunt and a couple of relatives, think I'm being too harsh on a pregnant woman. Some are staying neutral but are clearly uncomfortable when we're all in the same room. As for me and Tiffany, we're not speaking. I've decided to go low contact, really no contact, with her and my aunt for now. I won't avoid big family events forever, but I need a break. I'm also done expecting any apology. She obviously doesn't think she did anything wrong. I'm sad it came to this. We were family and even friends once, and now we're basically enemies. But I also feel I need to stand up for myself. Thankfully, many relatives support me in that, even if others disagree. I'll update again if anything major happens. For instance, when Tiffany's baby arrives, maybe things will change then, but I'm not holding my breath. For now, I'm focusing on my marriage and the family members who understand my side. It's heartbreaking that it's come to this, but I have to protect my own peace. If that means keeping my distance from Tiffany, so be it. Update 2. Hello again. It's been about 6 months since my last update, and a lot has happened. I wish I could say that time healed this rift, but things are still complicated. However, there's been a sort of uneasy peace that has settled. Let me explain. Tiffany gave birth to a healthy baby girl last month. Despite everything, I genuinely felt happy for her on that front. A new baby is a big deal, but I was torn on how to handle it. I certainly wasn't going to rush to the hospital or anything. I doubted I'd be welcome anyway. Ultimately, I decided to send a small gift and a congratulations card. I kept it very simple and polite. Congrats on your beautiful baby girl, wishing you all the best. It cost me nothing to be cordial, and I hoped it might ease tensions a bit. I didn't hear back from Tiffany directly. My mom later told me Tiffany received my gift and said, "Tell her I said thanks in passing," but she never contacted me herself. Not that I expected a grand gesture, but a quick text would have been nice. Oh well. There was also a baby shower thrown by my aunt a couple months ago that I chose not to attend. I politely declined, citing a prior commitment. From what I heard, it was mostly Tiffany's friends and that side of the family. My absence was noticed by some, I'm sure, but by that point I was sticking to my no-contact plan. Fast forward to last week. My grandma, who absolutely hates that the family is fractured, orchestrated a little tea party at her house so that close family could meet the new baby. She invited me, my mom, a few others, and Tiffany. I knew Grandma was trying to play peacemaker. I had mixed feelings, but I adore my grandma, and I know how important family is to her. So I went. It was actually okay. Strange, but okay. When I arrived, Grandma was holding the baby and cooing, and Tiffany was next to her. I braced myself and went over. Tiffany and I greeted each other with the most neutral pleasantries. I told her the baby was beautiful. She is, and congratulated her again. She gave me a polite thank you. It was civil, but you could cut the tension with a knife. The whole visit went like that. Civil, a bit awkward, but no fireworks. We kind of talked through Grandma discussing the baby's cute habits, how Tiffany is sleeping or not sleeping, etc., without directly addressing each other much. At one point, Grandma, bless her, said, "Isn't it nice to have the family together?" Tiffany and I both just smiled and sipped our tea. I did get to hold the baby for a minute. She really is precious. I felt a little pang of sadness holding her, because I realized this innocent child is oblivious to all the family drama surrounding her arrival. Tiffany watched me like a hawk while I had her baby, which I expected, new mom and all, but there was an extra wariness in her eyes, like she didn't quite trust me. That hurt, but I suppose it's understandable given everything. Eventually, the visit ended without incident. I handed the baby back and told Tiffany sincerely, "I'm really happy for you. She's wonderful." Tiffany actually met my eyes and said thank you. For the first time in a long while, her tone wasn't chilly. She looked, I don't know, maybe a little regretful? It might be wishful thinking, but for a split second I thought I saw some sadness in her expression. We didn't address the wedding or our fight at all. No apologies, no rehashing, nothing. But we managed to be cordial. Since that day, Tiffany and I still haven't been in direct contact. However, the frost seems to be thawing just a bit. For example, she actually liked a photo from my wedding that I posted, very late, on social media, something she hadn't done before. And in the family group chat, she and I even had a brief, friendly exchange congratulating another cousin on a job promotion. It was brief and polite, but notable given how we'd been completely ignoring each other. Do I think Tiffany and I will ever be close again? Honestly, no. She never actually apologized, and I doubt she ever will fully grasp how hurtful her stunt was. And maybe I'll never fully get over it either. We'll probably keep things polite and surface level from here on out, which is sad for two people who used to be as close as sisters. I've learned a lot through this whole ordeal about boundaries, about how even family can disappoint you, and about standing up for myself. It wasn't easy and it sure wasn't pretty, but I'm glad I didn't just roll over to keep the peace at the expense of my self-respect. On the bright side, going through this has brought me closer to others. My sister and I are tighter than ever after weathering this drama together, and I've received so much support from extended family who saw what happened and privately told me I wasn't in the wrong. In the end, there's no dramatic reconciliation or heartfelt apology to tie this story up. Tiffany has her life with her new family, and I have mine. We'll coexist at family gatherings and be cordial for the sake of peace, but that deep bond we once had is likely gone. It still stings that my wedding memories have this shadow over them, but I refuse to let her actions define my happiness. I'm focusing on the good. I married the love of my life, and we have so much to look forward to. If dealing with an entitled cousin is the worst bump in our road, I'll count myself lucky.